third episode of Digital Brew. Today I'm here with Tom Bloomfield of Bloomfield Gray, and we're here to talk about the way that digital has changed the estate agency business. Tom, thanks a lot for your time. It's great to talk to you. You've obviously been involved in the estate agency game for quite some time. Do you want to just give us a quick introduction to you?
Yeah, okay, thanks, Jake. I started in 1999, straight out of uni, and in that time I've worked in most of West London.
Yeah.
I've sold farms in Suffolk, working for a multidisciplined firm, and I've run my own companies, and in the last year I've set up this firm, Bloomfield Gray.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk about the Bloomfield Gray specifically later on, but
yeah.
I think property. I think property is, we're obsessed by it. I think British is a little bit like the weather. We all love talking about property. Rightmove now is the house porn that our people are addicted to.
Yeah.
I think the kind of obvious view is digital's changed estate agency entirely without Rightmove. Everyone's so focused on Rightmove, and it's the bigger portals, Rightmove and Zoopla, have just seismic change in the way that estate agency happens. I think for me, actually the interesting thing, and this is where I think your input's so interesting, is the actual nature of running an estate agency itself. And I think we need to look at buyers and sellers separately. I think as a buyer, there's no doubt you go to Rightmove. I think very few people wouldn't do that. So I don't know whether you have people who just come to your website and find properties that they haven't seen it from Rightmove, or is Rightmove the key driver of most of your traffic from the buyers?
From the buyer's perspective, yeah, it is. I think, as I understand it, there's come some regional variations. Some cities Zoopla does better, but generally speaking, as of about 5 years ago, no one was confident enough to challenge the 95% figure, and that's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And certainly my experience is really that Rightmove is pretty much the housing market now.
Yeah, I agree. But as for buyers, I think for sellers, as a buyer, I don't really care who's selling that house. Although, again, we'll go on to the purple bricks of the world, and maybe there's a perception that if a house is being sold via one of the new models, that's an interesting thing which we could perhaps explore. The interesting thing, as an estate agency business, you require instructions, you require houses, you require stock that you need to sell.
Yeah.
I think what traditionally has dictated the selection of an estate agency. So if I want to sell my house, what are the traditional factors that sort of make or break an estate agency? Yeah.
So just going back in terms of buyers. Yeah. They don't. As far as most of the time, the brand name that's next to the house they're interested in is of no real concern.
Irrelevant.
They have some issues with what may come later in terms of service.
Yep.
But it's the house they're there for.
Yep.
And if it's the right house, then it's the right house. The way that homeowners choose their estate agent, strangely, hasn't really advanced anything like as fast as buyer behaviour has.
Right, okay.
Which is odd when you think that buyers are normally sellers as well. But
that's the point.
Yeah, if you look back, buyers, homeowners really choose the estate agent to sell their house based principally on whether they are the specialists in their type of house. So if you have a
price bracket and perhaps location.
Yeah, so if you live in a kind of an old rectory in 10 acres, then you will go to one of the 3 or 4 brands that kind of specialises in that.
Got it, yeah.
And if you live in a more normal house, like most people do, then you're probably choosing on location. Right, so, have they got, lots of activity in our area or an office nearby, something like that. So, you're either choosing on specialism or location.
Okay.
What's interesting about how that plays out, if we use the old rectory example, is that when that vendor speaks to those 3 agents, they're there to get access to the sort of buyers that they think will buy their house.
Yep.
And, wind back 20 years, you had to go to those agents because that's where the buyers were. There was kind of no other way of doing it. Yeah. And as long as they were all charging precisely, all charging broadly the same price, then, you had to pay them 15,000 quid. Well, I guess to kind of understand the difference now with what Rightmove has done is to say, well, if every buyer is available to every agent, then that same homeowner can theoretically go and list it with an agent based 400 miles away in a call centre for £200 and access the same buyer audience.
Yeah.
So although, in my view, fees are coming down at quite a slow pace in spite of all of that.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because the vendors are tuning into this quite slowly, and I think a lot of agents are actually doing quite a good job of playing down the internet in order to justify the fees they charge. But it is how every day it's changing, and it will be noticeable. It's already noticeable. Speed up, come down a bit. But
I'd say the average percentage. I've moved house quite a few times in the last few years, and it seems to be aggressively price competitive, and I personally, I might be wrong, but we're going through a phase of, perhaps coming out of the phase of price dictating selection, and I think the more people get burnt and through bad service, and again we'll talk about what makes a good agency business. I think that people are learning that actually perhaps it's a false economy. Yes, you can save money, but if you then get let down, that can be fairly brutal, and it can lead to real problems.
Yeah.
How is it that the new purple bricks, and there are others, but purple bricks probably the kind of best known perhaps. Why are they so cheap? Which bits are they cutting out of the service, and which are they keeping? So are they basically advertisers of properties on the portals? Is that their plot?
They do more than that.
Okay.
And I suppose the matching of a person to a house, which used to be done by negotiators making lots of phone calls, has been commoditised. It is done now by Rightmove. You have to pay them, £1,000 a month, and you can do it.
Okay.
So that inevitably, once it gets commoditised, the value just goes. So what are you left with? You're left with a place where if a homeowner can put their house there and find all the buyers. At what point in an estate agent? Well, I think there are things that estate agents can do to justify their existence and their fees. They've got to add value. Simple as that. If you're charging £5,000, you've got to be able to either save the client £5,000 worth of their time, or add £5,000 to the sale price of their house. Simple as that. So. And I guess kind of broadly, there are kind of four areas where you can see an agent adding value. Valuing the house properly to begin with.
Has to get the number right.
Yeah, predicting the asking price, and there's 100 subsections just within that.
But sorry to interrupt. Of course, on that point, do you find yourself in a situation now because it's very easy to access sales data yourself? As a vendor, do you find most people have a preconceived view of what they want from their house? They'll look up land registry data, very easily available, and they'll know that Mrs. Jones down the corner, that was 550. Tim the year before was 525. We're going to be looking at high 500s. And do you get that kind of conversation coming at you? Okay. And is that a problem sometimes? Is it overinflated? So they may see a house advertised at 550. They haven't actually looked at sale value. It sold at 480, or does that happen? Or
it does. So
data.
That's right. Vendors are better informed, but obviously they can misinterpret that data, and often do. Sometimes that's compounded by an agent who's just getting it wrong because they're not experienced enough for that.
The saying might say once the business.
I've heard it said. And little things like just no longer advertising at 99 and things like that, which just don't make sense in the digital world for all sorts of reasons. And there's more transparency, more information for vendors. That is more a problem. Valuing houses is still far harder when it's an old rectory in 10 acres.
Unique
because there is
not commodity.
Precisely because there's comparables are hard to find, and there's more kind of variables that both the agent and the owner can take an optimistic view of. But certainly, if you're selling more, it doesn't have to be low value. Terraces in West London, valuable, but many more obvious comparables.
So I interrupt. So valuation is one of the key areas that good estate agent adds value. Other areas,
presentation of the house. So we know we can hit all the buyers. But that's easy to do. But actually, really having an understanding of what it takes to present a house well. Okay, so most agents now are doing professional photography and editing, and they should be, particularly on a house with a lot to offer, a lot to be photographed. But it goes way beyond that. The way you write written descriptions now you have to think about where you put information. Yeah, exactly.
Very different. And brochure is very different to right move alerts in the morning on your mobile phone. Short, sweet, and punchy.
Yeah,
as it works rather than kind of verbose.
Absolutely,
living the dream all the time again.
Yeah, because actually, you're on Rightmove and Super, for example, you have your short description with a couple of pictures. You've got to really think about that, and you're still seeing agents rolling out. You get 300 characters in a short description. You've really got to ram that full of things that are going to suck people in to see the full details. Yeah. And you're still seeing agents filling that with, we are proud to present for sale and this sort of stuff, and it's just not understanding this digital business. So presentation is key, and agents have got to know how to do it better than their clients physically, and in some senses kind of invest in doing it better if they have to. Outsourcing. And then there's just the kind of the nitty gritty of dealing with sales. So
progression. I mean, progression. I've been on the receiving end of bad estate agency where a sale fell through, so we didn't get. Wasn't it? And that it really drove it home for me personally that actually that sales progression is so key, and the nature of the whole model of estate agency where most agents. You're taking a risk on that sale. It's in your interest to push that through to completion because that's when you earn your fee. I think yes, there are some sort of models where there is an upfront cost, and that's fine. But I think when you've got somebody championing your cause and pushing that sale through, I think that's a service I think there should be a premium for. But maybe because I've been burned, whereas you're saying the kind of online peddlers saying you sell your house for $399 all in. If you've got a £750,000 house, that's a considerable saving. You think you can see
I can see
why that happens. I think in terms of the kind of mechanics of how Bloomfield Gray is a new estate agency, and I think you're an interesting kind of model in terms of lean and mean and sort of intelligent about the way you do things. What are you doing today with Bloomfield Gray that you weren't doing back in 1999 perhaps? What things are you specifically doing digitally to help your business? Okay,
I mean I think building a brand of estate agency generally now you've got to look at digital. Cost is making it so producing big magazines and hefty advertising in country life and things like that is massively expensive, and you're not just talking about advertising the houses, but building the brand as well. So in this firm we're getting quite into Facebook, boosting our posts, kind of learning how to do that.
Are you doing that just for your brand, or are you doing specific properties? And are you going? What kind of level of granularity are you using that for?
We're doing both. I think we're mixing it up. I think it's easy just to kind of stick every house on Facebook and assume that's helping. It's not really. It's trying to find an angle. So if we advertised a house the other day in a specific village, so we boosted the Facebook post to people that live in and around that village. We've kind of put some interesting content about that village. First, talking about the pub and all these sorts of things, and just trying to engage our brand with that location. And then, and we're selling a house here. So, Baddingham is a great village to live in. And here's the house we're selling. So that's Facebook isn't where buyers are finding houses. It's where estate agents can build brand awareness.
Absolutely. And, and you probably find some buyers will sit. Perhaps they're interested in it. Facebook will sort of join the dots and think like. Village X, and bang, if you start getting with it.
We have done. I mean, it will happen occasionally. We made one sale where the buyer found the house from Facebook before she got it from Rightmove.
Excellent.
So that.
And that's. And I said beauty. As my interest in digital, that's highly targeted advertising at very low cost. Facebook particularly can promote boosted posts incredibly cheap. I think. In terms of overall value, so it's nice to see that it does deliver rather than sort of a false promise. Do you still again traditionally? I think estate agencies have had this kind of mindset that you have to be in the local press, and that's probably driven by again tradition. In my kind of parents' generation, they like to wait for the Thursday edition of the local paper, and they look at the properties, and that's almost they kind of wait a week, and I've seen that generation. They wait Thursday, and there's a house that's become available on the Monday, and I say you need to see it on Tuesday morning in a hot, vibrant market where stock is short. Do you advertising press? Are you still doing the traditional print advertising for Bloomfield Gray?
We took a few adverts when we launched.
Yep. Okay.
But
So this is, we're on the map.
Precisely, and then we stopped. And I said to my clients that we were using their houses.
Yep.
But I made it very clear to them, this is
for our own benefit.
Yeah, it's for our own benefit. Thanks for it. I won't do any harm, but sure enough, three pages in 3 pretty sizable local.
Yeah, but I think the traditional £5,000 a month you spend on local press gets you an enormous amount of traffic online, and arguably more targeted. I mean, yes, people reading the property sections are interested in property, but I've seen that for myself. I've sort of seen data. It's wholly convincing, and it's a miracle. It amazes me that, well, actually, it doesn't amaze me when you hear the press struggling for advertising revenue, because it just doesn't stack up. I think for a new estate agency, and then I know you do retargeting, so if you get people onto that site, you can then follow them up and just keep your brand at front of mind. And I think it may, as you say, it's probably a buyer who got drawn into the site, saw the property, but as you quite rightly said, buyers are also normally sellers, because there's a kind of food chain there.
I think the opportunity that actually estate agents have, which I think historically they've not been great at doing, is when a buyer registers, they want to give you their email address.
Yeah.
They don't really have to ask, because they don't want a phone call about a new house.
Yeah.
They want an email quickly.
Yeah.
From the software that pretty much all agents use these days will just automatically just do that matching. Yeah. So it's slightly ahead of Rightmove by a few minutes, but it's still nice for clients to think they're getting that. But of course, you're building up a buyer database. So my business is only going 6 months, and we've got 700 or 800 email addresses of people who they might live out of area, but they're trying to live here.
Yeah.
Well, project forward 10 years, that's going to be a sizable amount of data, and you can communicate with people not just about the houses that are coming on, but about what you're up to, what's going on in the housing market. But I think provided the content is valuable and interesting, that's how you can keep your brand going.
And I think that matchmaking, which would have taken sales negotiators time to do their own sort of matchmaking process, perhaps get on the phone, and that takes time. So in terms of your efficiency as a business, which I mentioned the kind of lean and mean, you're sort of keeping it, let's say, a lean machine that's just brutally effective. There's no real dead wood in the way that you operate, because you're embracing the kind of new opportunities that weren't really there before.
Make no secret about it, our negotiating is done by websites, by Rightmove, we're with this particular firm, and I think there'll be many more like us in the future. We are not engaging in any kind of marketing, including branding our own business, that is either expensive or that doesn't at least promote our clients' houses. So, for example, this is our office. We don't have passing trade, but it's a very, very cheap place to be. It's efficient. It's close to all the main roads. And that works really well. And as a result of that, our fees are a little bit less. Which means we can compete in that kind of online sphere. So for us, it's about kind of making sure that we do the things that are important well. Advertising the clients as well as we can, the working parts behind the scenes, making sure we've all been to the houses and be answer the phone quickly enough, following good basic stuff.
Exactly. It should be, and that sounds pretty obvious, but it's just doing what you should be able to do and do it really, really well, better than others. It's a positive experience, and that's why I think it's interesting for me, coming in from the digital angle. There is no real the progression bit once you answering the phone and pushing them, so that's not a digital thing. So you can live without digital at that point, absolutely. But to get to that point, I think digital has become so important. It's very few industries where it hasn't affected it and become really quite crucial. Luckily for us, but I think it's almost an industry where you can't live without it. But there are aspects of your business where if you rely on it too much, and I'm thinking perhaps for the Purple Bricks, where it's all automated, and they're really just booking agents. So, there's no company viewing, so there's no service around that. So yes, you can see why they're cheap, because they're quite efficient as well. They kind of mechanise that process. Whereas I'd like to think, and I'd like to hope that there is still an appetite for good service. There's a real danger that across any industry, let alone estate agency, that people just go for the cheap option, and quite increasingly you're seeing people going full circle and thinking, no, we need service, and we understand that comes at a premium, but it's a cost that's right and relevant for the service that we're being given.
Sure. So I think look forward to a decade, there's going to be a spectrum of different agency types that work, and there's plenty of opportunity for agents that are more traditional now to kind of evolve their businesses. They've just got to think about how they function really, but Furbrooks, in some respect, they are far and away the most successful kind of online agent, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're charging a lot more than the online agents that all emerged over the last sort of 10 years.
Yeah.
It just comes down to two things. Yeah, quite right. They have the buyers that any agent has, but you're going to have one member of staff for, I'm estimating, 150 houses for sale, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd argue, yes, they've got buyers, but Rightmove has all those buyers, and I think as long as you're visible on Rightmove, I suggest anybody has also got access to those same buyers.
Sure.
It might be 5 minutes before and open or whatever it may be.
Yeah. And how efficient can they be at dealing with those leads?
Yeah.
In this firm, we made a commitment to dealing with every single Rightmove lead inside an hour, which we're trying to do in 15 minutes. Yeah. I'm trying to do it inside a minute. If Rightmove lead comes in and want to be on the phone in a minute, so that's someone that's been in that house there. Now, I suggest one of the issues that's going to come with higher volume agencies is that a proportion of the leads coming in just aren't going to be dealt with.
Sit in a bar and
potentially.
That's hard to scale that for you, isn't it? And if you get more coming in, that becomes a challenge. But a nice challenge to have, and that's kind of.
Yeah, well, we're trying to put a boutique agency here. So for us, that's something I think we can commit to. But again, it just comes down to a ratio of people to property. And if you've got enough people, then you can meet those standards.
Yeah, that's good. Is it an urban myth that a sold sign is your favourite form of advertising? The amount of times I've been told that. Is that a complete fallacy?
No, I think it's massively important. It's been hugely important for agents traditionally. Yeah. If you work in a concentrated area in a town, and you've got a board on every street that says for sale or sold, there's just add up the number of hits on sets of eyes.
It's a lot.
It must be huge.
You bring a ripple effect. As long as you do a good job, you'll get a ripple effect sort of down that road or within the immediate vicinity. There's a perceived trust. Again, Mrs. Jones, she used Bloomfield Grey to sell her house, and she said it was great. You're going to get it. And again, that's totally divorced from digital. Digital has nothing to do with that particular kind of journey. So
I think there's the for sale board is perhaps the one bit of old marketing that still makes sense, and it's only because it's incredibly cheap. Compared to it costs £5 to put a board up, £5 to take it down, and it gets they get a lot of views, just offline. Yeah, and I can't imagine the scenario a time when that's not going to be good value. So they would love them or hate them.
Yeah, they'll be around. Yeah, I mean, you see, certainly here in Colchester, you see every school fete, they're all sponsored by estate agents. And it's, I think, I didn't know they've got their house for sale, but it's not at all. It's just, and anything, there must be a reason they do that. Cool, Tom, it's been great to speak to you. Thanks a lot for your time. And good luck for Bloomfield Grey.
Appreciate it.
Onwards and upwards. That's it for episode 3. We hope you enjoyed that. We, as always, we're looking for anyone that wants to get involved. So please do share your feedback and get in touch if you'd like to be involved. Thank you very much.